Digital transformation is a path your company is walking down. Your clients and your customers are also walking down a similar path, but maybe on different steps. For Tech Republic and ZDNet, I'm Dan Patterson with Bill Murray. He is Leading Edge Forum's senior researcher and advisor. Bill, thanks much for your time today. Let's start with that path. And kind of, it may seem like a basic question or a one-on-one question, but when your company is, say, 5 steps down the path, how do you interoperate and communicate with customers and clients who may be on step 2 or step 7?
It's a very good question. I'll be absolutely honest with you, Dan. The steps appear literally one as you move along, and it's very difficult to anticipate them. What you're saying is, how do you deal with folks that are a step ahead? How do you deal with folks that may be a step behind? We have a phrase in LEF called pioneers, settlers, and town planners, and we found that works really quite well. We have a set of people, pioneers, a little bit like the gold rush, who zip out there, start digging in the ground, creating new things. They have a very entrepreneurial mindset. They have a different culture there. They have a different culture. And you just kind of let them get on with it, make things, break things, and at the appropriate time, grab those things, give them to the settlers. The settlers grow those. The settlers grow those to a point where suddenly you want some efficiency, and that's when you give it to the town planners. So wherever we start talking to a member of the LEF that has this transformational journey, we're looking at 3 simultaneous steps. A sort of pioneering step, which may be in new products, maybe in new services, maybe new markets. They may even be trying to build one of these fantastic platform businesses, like a mini Google or a mini Uber or something like that. And you almost have to have a translator, some digital Sherpas that take the things from the pioneers to the settlers and from the settlers to the town planners. And if you have that picture and it's a coherent picture and you can keep portraying that picture, people's sense of stability increases. They know there are 3 things going on at the same time, and there has to be some mechanism of pulling from the pioneers to the settlers to the town planners.
How do you overcome some of the challenges, roadblocks that may be in front of you on your path from being a settler down the road?
So if you've got a digital transformation, in fact, actually, Dan, it's interesting, you use that word. We use a different word. We use the word transforming. It's a verb. It's just constant. Small digress. Dan, the big change for us isn't that people go through these steps. It's that they never stop. It's that 7 to 10 years ago, the digerati, the creatures of light, the thing that they did wasn't grab new technologies. It's they invented an organization structure and a way of working with these small pizza teams and these 3-tier models like Pioneer, Settler, Town Planner. And they have it bang on. They have it absolutely bang on. 3 cultures running in parallel. And what we try and do is we say, can you convey from that first team, what are the things that you need to do really well? Can you have some of the settlers work in the pioneering teams and bring those new products, those new services, those new team structures, those new way of behaving back to the settler group? That may be called a center of excellence, Dan, by the way, yeah? And similarly, can you bring folks from the town planners, typically IT, all right? Tend to feel a little bit stranded. The town planners, they're in charge of all the big technology infrastructure, all of the processes, all of the really difficult suppliers and so forth. Can you have some of them work with the settlers and bring that stuff back again? And then you get a system of theft working between the 3 of them. You encourage it. You encourage the settlers to steal people, processes, and technology from the pioneers, and similarly, the town planners from the settlers.
The town is such a better metaphor. To mix those metaphors, how do we define our KPIs for the town? What does a successful town look like?
Okay, so it has a pattern. It has an architecture. I hope it looks more like Paris than London, because it has some rigor to it, it has some simplicity to it, it has some processes. But interestingly, and this is where I'm afraid my metaphor fails you, Dan, is that what folks are doing more and more now is they're taking parts of that town and they're pushing it away into the outside. So every time you're pulling in new services from Google, over my left shoulder there, all right, or from Amazon, so AWS or something like that, you're taking part of that town, you are reducing it, and you are bringing in new services. And that town is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, but it's regular, it's well organized, it's all about operational excellence and efficiency. How fast can you do things? How repeatedly can you do things? Can you have low fails? That sort of thing. It's purely about operational excellence. Settlers, it's about growth. It's about revenue. It's about margin. It's about profit. It's about the amount of talent that you're bringing into the organization. Pioneers, how many things have you broken is a really interesting metric for how much experimentation you're doing. They want to know less about success and more about how many times you failed before you got it right. Those are the three sets of metrics.